Hello everyone, my name is Jenny Breen. I'm a chef and culinary nutrition educator in the Minneapolis area. I've been working with Sprout and with Kelly Dillon, the intern, this summer. It's been a lot of fun. We've been creating some great recipes and sending out lots of great information about the food itself and about the growers and producers who are getting that food to you. We love to talk about why it's so important to have that relationship with the people who produce your food. The more we know about how our food is produced and how the land and animals and people are treated, the more we can have a relationship with the regenerative, sustainable nature of agriculture, and the better it is for us, our community, and the environment. This week we're highlighting corn. And the corn in your box comes from the Yoder family farm in Clarissa, Minnesota. They are an Amish family. They have a really sustainable approach to agriculture and to caring for their land. The food is really clean, the soil is really healthy, and the food that you're using is going to nourish you as well. This is a really fun recipe. This is a corn and zucchini fritter. Really simple. It can be done with other vegetables, but these are kind of the ideal vegetables. I have grated some green and yellow zucchini, and I have cut some corn off the cob. Break that stem piece off the bottom so you can kind of hold it straight up. Very slowly and with a good sharp knife, I'm going to go down the side and just get those kernels cut off. So I've got 2 ears of corn here, and then I've got some green onion. You want to hold that knife nice and firm right here in the middle. Keep the tip of the knife right on your cutting board. Protect your other fingers, and then just gently rock back and forth. I'm using the whole onion, the green and the white part. So those are the vegetable ingredients. Corn itself is a whole grain, which means it has all the parts of a grain, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. I like to encourage people to think about and try and incorporate whole grain flour when you're using flour, because that's going to give you more nutrients. I'm actually using cornmeal and chickpea flour because I'm keeping this gluten-free. Any whole grain flour like whole wheat flour or brown rice flour, any of those will work. The fact that they're gluten-free should be fine in a recipe like this because we've got eggs in here that will help bind them. But again, any flour should work. And then of course I've got 2 eggs. Eggs are a really nutritious, wonderful ingredient in our cooking and baking, and also they help to bind things and give them body and structure. So I'm going to actually start with my eggs. I'm going to get those mixed up a little bit before I add my zucchini, my corn, and my onions. And then I'm actually going to add my flour as well. I'm putting some garlic powder. If you have fresh herbs, go ahead and mince those up and throw them in. If you want something more Latin, throw some cumin or some chili powder in. You want something more Italian, go ahead and throw oregano and basil in. So go ahead and get creative with flavor. This is going to be pretty dry. I want to mix it up before I add any other liquids. Even though it seems dry, there's more moisture than we might realize, and we don't want this to be super wet. The eggs will help a little bit, and the zucchini will add some moisture. Now that it's mixed in, it's got some moisture to it again because of the eggs and the zucchini. But if it seems dry to you, you can add some liquid, and I'm adding water, but you can also add milk or any kind of milk product that you use. Just adding a little bit. Again, I don't want it to be too wet because ultimately I'm going to fry these like a pancake, so I want them to crisp up. That is a pretty good texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my frying pan hot. I'm using a cast iron skillet, but any good heavy-duty skillet will work. I'm going to put my oil in once that pan is hot, so it's nice and hot when I put my fritters in. I'm using, as always, the sunflower oil that you all get with your CSA share. Any neutral oil will work, so if you don't have a sunflower oil, something like an avocado oil or a pumpkin seed oil or something that's light and neutral, but not a vegetable oil if you can avoid it. And I'm not deep frying these. I'm just putting enough oil in to really coat the bottom of the pan. If you have a tablespoon or a scoop, that will work, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my hand. I'm going to form some kind of medium-sized patties here. You can make them as big or as small as you want. I think they cook a little better if they're not too big. And I'm kind of pressing it together so I can squeeze out any extra liquid, but also get them to sort of hold together as much as possible. They'll take probably about 2.5 minutes per side. I don't want to mess around with them too much once they're in the pan. Sometimes if we start, pushing at it with the spatula, sometimes we actually break it apart. So I'm gonna practice patience and self-control and just leave it alone until I think it's ready to flip. The way that I will know that is I'm looking around at the edges of the fritters to see them kind of crisping up and browning. The other thing to know is that when you make fritters, the middle of the fritter is not going to be really dry. It's going to be somewhat moist. Sometimes we think it's not cooked all the way through because it's a little moist in the middle, but remember there's egg in there, so it's going to be a little fluffy and soft. It's not going to be crispy all the way through. I'm going to flip one of these. Oh yes, looks really good. Once I flip it, I can kind of press down again to get a little moisture out and to make sure that it really cooks firmly and all the way through. They look really beautiful. They're nice and brown, but not too dark, and they're cooking really well and staying together. Delicious with yogurt or sour cream or salsa or any kind of condiment that you enjoy. Put it with a salad, you have a perfect summer meal. Enjoy.